I decided to, unveil a challenge that I'm doing, a workshop that I'm doing about, how to become high level, how to customize yourself, right? I discovered this formula, right? These techniques and these sessions that you can take a person through. And once a person learns this, they can start transforming their own mind into that which is their higher level, you understand me, of self. Now, I look at myself today, and if I take a picture of where I was last year, where I was the year before that, where I was 10 years, where I was, 30 years ago, right? Well, not 30 years ago, but let's just say 10 years. Each one of those levels, I was proceeding to the next, right? I thought where I was at 10 years ago was somewhere because I was farther than where I was last year. I thought where I was the year after that, I was getting further. I thought I was doing something. But then I realized that, there's no such thing as getting to level completion. If you live life right, you always on a stage of growth. You're always evolving, right? And so, but where I'm at today, I used to ask myself 10 years ago, I used to ask myself 14 years ago, how do I become you? I used to sit in meditative thought, and I sit in the darkness, and I would imagine, what does it look like, to become, a greater version of myself. And so I sit there and I would imagine what I looked like, what I smelt like, what was I doing, how much money I had, the flyness, the decadence, the energy, right? And I would ask, like, bro, how do I become you? I would say to my future self, I say, man, you got the girl I want, you got the money I want. And so I would imagine my future self at all times, a higher level version of myself, right? And then I would reverse engineer, right, by taking myself through this inception of thought and moving forward, right? And so now it's eerie because I am that person that I saw in my own mind, right? All them years ago. And I'm talking about, I wasn't where I'm at right now, but I had awareness that a higher level version of myself existed. That challenge is imagining and having a strong vision of what's your higher level, right? And working towards producing that into a manifested reality. So now that I've gotten to what my vision was 10 years ago, now I'm working towards making me another higher level. Now I have to go in and I have to envision everything greater, everything higher. My goals are not the same because I've reached peaks of where those goals was. So now I'm like, damn, I have to be the greatest. I heard, forget her name right now, but she said being the greatest is ego. Nobody can be the greatest. And everybody has their ideas and opinion on life, and that's beautiful, but the thing about it is the greatest is an endeavor. It's not really something you become, right? It's something you work towards. And while striving to be great develops you in areas that stretch you beyond limitations or limited thinking, right? And so that process is a comparative greatness of looking at that which that is a ceiling. See, when a human being dies, there's a cap on what they can do. The living have, of course, the living has an edge, right, on the ancestors. The living has an edge on death, right? Because anybody that came before me, I can now go further than, because they can't outwork me, right? Because now I can study their blueprint. I can study what they put here into reality. Now I can move forward and go farther. So if you look at anybody that existed throughout all eons of time, I don't care how great they are. You can go further because you're still alive. That's the edge of the living, is that we still have the ability to go further than anyone who existed throughout human history. And we have the cheat codes of the life of those who existed to go further. We can study what they sent here. How did they train? What did they do? We have better tools now, better technology. We have greater access, greater resources. So when we say we want to be the greatest, we can only compare ourselves to who is the greatest. That's all we can do. You know, nature gives me great ideas. Nature allows me to hear myself. I'm surrounded by too much technology, too many waves and frequencies, too many buildings. It's hard for me to hear myself. You know, and my most creative thoughts come from when, you know, I'm tapped into nature at its full height. And therefore, I can just be in flow mode. When I'm in flow mode, I'm in go mode. You know? But I want to challenge you all, you know, to start thinking about what does your higher level look like. I want you to think about what will it take for you to get to in 10 years. And I want you to imagine beyond belief. I want you to imagine beyond limitation. Don't put nothing weak in there. You know, don't put nothing weak in there. Give me something that's going to be hard to accomplish. Don't give me nothing easy. Give me something that's going to take you some time, some mastery to complete. It's like a boy that's skinny or a person that's huge and fat, and they say, well, one day I'm going to have a six-pack. I mean, their stomach could be out here, man, can't barely walk through doors and got to squeeze in sideways. But they say, you know what, one day I'm going to have a six-pack. It ain't going to happen overnight. But when you give yourself a journey, right, you give yourself purpose, a while to live. Right? Same thing if somebody's skinny and say, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. They said, I'm about to go through this whole entire damn journey to develop myself into a transformation of a higher level version of myself. Somebody broke right now saying they want to be rich. They saying that, damn, I'm about to go on the journey of the rich man. Because if you say you want to be something other than what you are, then you're giving yourself trials, tribulations, and journey. It comes with pain, passion, discovery, resilience, right? Fearlessness. You have to go into the unknown because you've never been there before, so you don't know it, but you are willing to put yourself in uncomfortable position so that you can get to a place of greatness, to a higher level. But you have to have awareness of one's own potential in order to do that. Now, once you get the tools, you got the right people around, you got the right community. You know, I was talking to Billy and them, and they was explaining how Tony Robbins, he had a program that cost like $125,000. I know a person be like, $125,000, dang. But they said the man went and got the $125,000 program, and then he used that to make millions. See, automatically I listen, somebody was like, I wouldn't pay that nowhere, right? But see, you don't know what is required of you to reach your higher level. You don't know what's required. You don't know what you have to give up in order to get more sometimes. So the moment you ask for something, you have to also be willing to give up that which is necessary in order for you to get it. And that's what a lot of people fear. They fear that which they have to give up. Oh, I'm not going to pay this money. I'm not going to spend this time. I'm not going to develop myself in the darkness in order to bring that to light. So many people, they corrupt their own mind from going to that next level. Because you're not willing in order to get it. Yet you say you want it, but you want it the easy way. You got to want it by any means necessary. How you want millions and you afraid to give up hundreds of thousands? You have to give up everything you are to become everything you want. See, I'm not talking about that $125,000 for somebody could be $125. That $125,000 for somebody can be goddamn $10. If you're not willing to give it up, it don't matter. If I knew right now, man, I give up all the money in my bank account, then I get 100 million. You see, fear stops faith. So therefore, you can't walk into the unknown. You can only walk into the unknown with faith. You can't walk into the unknown with fear because it's going to stop you from moving forward. You have to walk into the unknown with faith and move forward on that, encourage. But that's the idea of investing in yourself. You're not willing to give up what you have in order to get what you want. You holding on to what you are, saying, I want to get somewhere else though, but I'm not willing to give up who I am. No, you can't be two things at once. You want to become something else, you got to empty your cup. You got to spend money to make money. You have to spend time to make money. You have to spend time to make time. All things require us to give up something in order to reach that next level. You dig? That's the power of advancement. That's the law of sacrifice. What are you willing to give up? Don't have no goals if you ain't willing to give something up. That's what I learned. You have to be able to exchange. Money is the exchange of energy. So it's not always a dollar, but money is the cheapest thing on the planet Earth. It's that which you give up in order to receive the money. The money represents that which you gave up. You see a man with $1 billion. Well, he gave up intellect. He gave up time. Right? He gave up his old self to become the new self. There's so much that was in that sacrifice that you don't see. So when I see people with things, that's like, even if you see a child with money, you're not seeing their sacrifice, you're seeing their parents' sacrifice. No, you got to understand something was given for this. This just represents, increments of energy that was given. And when you see a person with nothing, it's because they was never willing to give up anything, or they don't know how to. I see a person, they gave up on themselves. They stopped pouring into themselves. I ain't never met a man who was consistent, who was fearless, who had passion, right, that was broke. Who was focused, that was broke. I ain't never met nobody with that combination of things within themselves. I ain't never met that person. Because they don't exist. See, broke means something that does not work. When it is broken and it's no longer working. Right? But when you the work king, you are already exchanging something. I'm giving energy. That energy has an output, and the value of that output is turned into currency, and it's returned back to me in the form of gold, silver, right? Access, right? Greenback dollars. That's the power of the deposit. You go to any bank in America and you make a deposit, guess what you can do now? Make a withdrawal. You make a deposit, they may even give you credit. So now, I put in $500. They might want to lend me $500. Because why? You have something they can take away if you don't pay. So you have to give yourself leverage. The more you create, the more you have. I'm talking about, you don't just have what you have. You always have more. Don't count it in that instance. You have leverage now. Everything compounds. If I'm creating content, there's 21 high-level conversations. A person, they watch one of them, now they're going through all of them. It's a whole catalog for them. It's compounding. Right? Each one is building up a truer fan base of people who is tapped in, a high-level constituency of folks that's tapped in and is growing and growing. And now, I'm no longer pushing out one, but it's still making me money. It's still creating compound interest. It's still, grasping attention. And so you have to work in life on that compound effect. Right? I would rather have, 10,000 pieces of content talking about different things, and now I'm over there helping people that I ain't never met before. that I never heard of, but they tapped into me. I put it out at different points in time. Something I created 10 years ago is paying me out a royalty. I'm compounding the value of my sacrifice. So now it's worth more when I give it away, because all the content I ever created on social media, I gave it away for free. Ain't that the beauty of it? It cost me something, so I sacrificed the money, the time, the production, the development of myself to produce it. Then I gave it away. But if I never gave it away, I would have never got any value. So the hoarding, keeping it all to myself, actually made it worth nothing. It was only worth something when I gave it away. So here I am, trying to figure out how can I give more things away. But I also realized that you can't, you want to be a millionaire or a billionaire. I was thinking about that. I say, listen, you can teach 1 million people and not get $1 million unless you charge each person $1. But think about that. In what other industry can you serve 1 million people and not get $1 million? You can sell chips to 1 million people and get $1 million. But a teacher, a master teacher, can serve 1 million people, reach 1 million people, and still be broke. And see, society is okay with that, even though that person could have gave them game that and changed 1 million lives, and that person could still be broke. The world is not created, in that manner. So that told me, I said, damn, in order for me to receive something out of it, I have to create a product that those who I serve can serve me back. They can reciprocate. So you don't want to be that person that's serving the world, but the world does not reciprocate in no manner. You have to create a system to where you can have exchange. How is it that you can teach 1 million people but not have $1 million? Just the simple concept changed my construct of thinking into a higher level. I said, that don't make no sense. I can't get $1 for my thoughts. I can't get $1 for my thoughts. It's not worth $1. But a hot dog vendor can sell 1 million hot dogs, and that's $1 million. See, we live in a society that don't value the intangible, don't value the essence of things. So this is why so many people have hoarded knowledge throughout time, because they realized that I could give it away, but I would be poor. I could give it away, but people wouldn't value it, because I would feel guilty taking something from somebody that I know is worth so much and I don't give them nothing in return. I would feel like I'm using them. Somebody just constantly just giving me stuff, man, I feel like a sucker. Nah, whoa, but let me give you something, man. Let me help you in some kind of way. I have to at least give them a tenth of the value back, but that's not the way the world is set up. The world rewards those who reward themselves. They say, no, you have to set up the system so that you get paid. So I said, okay, let me do that then. Because I've seen activists, I've seen revolutionaries, I've seen people of the past not have $1. And it's not about the money, because obviously you give it away for free, but it's about reciprocation so that you can give even more away. If each person that listened to me gave me $1, oh man, shit, I'd be a billionaire out here in these streets. But that ain't their job. It's my job to find a way. Somebody say, are you adding value? You tell me, Jay. If I'm not, I would press that X at the top. I only produce value, and see, being rich, it's not so much about money. It's about value. When you produce something of value, right? Confidence is value. Intellectual property is value. That's money. Sometimes a simple thank you is enough gratitude. If everybody that ever listened to a high-level conversation commented and said thank you, on one of my videos, I would have 6 million thank yous. That would increase the engagement, right? And that would help me out. So I would be grateful just with increased engagement. But you see, that would be money. But see, that's what I mean by I say we have a selfish society. We don't truly honor those who give to us even freely. Nah, I take 1 million likes on that page because now that increased engagement, I can leverage that power. So what that tells me is, bro, no matter how much you give away, you have to make sure you get your value yourself. You see the difference in that? So the world tries to trick you into being a slave and tell you that your morality is tied up in how much you can give away versus how you can get that energy reciprocated, which is your true genius. Nah, that's gratitude. So anyway, that's my stream of thought today. You know, becoming high level, I had to think about all those things. How am I able to continue to reach the masses, right? While at the same time reaching myself, you know, while at the same time developing myself. Do not give to the world and then walk away with an empty cup. That's not the way the world is supposed to work. Nah, if I just gave to the world and the world gave nothing back to me, I would die a poor man. I have to give to the world and collect resources so that I can give back to myself, so that I can have more to give. But you never give more than you have. You know what I'm saying? That's the key. Never give more than you have.